Okay. Oh, all right. We're live. We are live. All right. Let me here. Just hold on a second. Just want to get everything. Want to get a full screen going. All right. Here. Let's just do the drill that we're usually doing. Okay. So we got All right. Okay. It hasn't uploaded yet, which is bad, but don't worry.
Hey guys.
On my story. Let me get everything live here on Instagram right now. Okay. All right. Why do I feel like I don't know things today? I don't know. That's like every day for me. Who knows? Oh, one thing I gotta do before I put this live on Instagram, I gotta just tweet it too, because I'm on Twitter too, just so you guys know. I put it in the link. I'll put it in the links of the channel. I think I put in the links to the other live stream in case. Oh, there was somebody watching it left. I wanted to say, I don't know. I feel like when people like come on for just a little bit, like they're like, I don't know, who knows? Maybe somebody's internet stalking me. I don't know. I don't think. Okay, I don't want to embarrass you. I was just saying, comment on YouTube if you think if you want to say hi, or if you're internet stalking, and yeah, just stay here then. Fine. I'll know if when I say they're internet stalking and they leave, then I'll know that person was just internet stalking me. It doesn't really care for me. I guess not. All right. Let's see. What? God, that takes so slow. Okay. All right. Let me send the link. Oh, YouTube. That's what I gotta do. I gotta go to YouTube, send the link for Twitter and all that. And yeah. Let's get this going, man. Got a lot to do today. All right. Edit. Okay, no, not edit. Talk amongst yourself, or talk one person among yourself if you want to. I guess not. All right, copy link. Okay. Okay. Right. Just sending it to people. I'm sending it to a group chat of my friends. I'm live now. Go ahead and watch it. Watch it. And let's have some fun. Okay. God, this is really becoming slow. Sorry. Just bear with me. I want to just, all right, now I'm going to go to Instagram, put that live now. Then I got to set the Facebook. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Checking connections. All right, let me go to live Facebook. Okay, I'm live on Instagram too. So I'm live on Instagram, and now I just got to go, all right. Now, what do I do? Okay, this is going to be an issue. Let me see. What could I do? More of a... Okay. Yeah, it's good. I look big on the Facebook script then, but I don't know. It just all how it's gonna be perceived. Wait, let me push it back a little, see if that works. Just to get a little bit more of a room, because I'm like, if I don't want to have like too much headroom on the Facebook thing. All right, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go live here. All right, I'm live. Okay. I'm live on Facebook too. All right, I'm live on everything now. All right, here we go. So thank you guys for watching. Yeah, so just so you guys know, I'm live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you're on Instagram and you want to go to YouTube, go to YouTube. If you're on Facebook, if you want to go to Instagram, then go to Instagram, or you know, Joe, I'm not going to go too into it because I'm going to confuse myself. Okay. Anyway, so for today, I thought of going over a few things. The one thing I wanted to go over was a playlist I have actually of music that I think you guys might really enjoy. But first, I just want to discuss a few things before we go into that. All music related, basically. And yeah, because what it says, Radigan's RockCast. This is what I named it now. Because I thought like for these kind of streams, have a little bit fun. Talk about music. Jam a little. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Hey, how you doing, Ebony? How you doing? Good to see you, man. All right, thanks for joining. All right. Whatchamacallit? So for today, I thought to start off with, of course, on March 17th was St. Patrick's Day, of course. But yesterday was actually, unfortunately, the fourth year anniversary of Chuck Berry's death. And Chuck Berry, just one of the greatest musicians out there. He was one of the rock and roll pioneers. I mean, he did, he was just incredible. And it's sad that he's gone 4 years. I was a senior in high school when he died, and it was so upsetting for me. Like, it was really, I was crushed. I mean, I know that he was 90, so it's like, of course, like it was gonna happen, but it was just such a blow because he was one of my favorite artists like of all time, and it was definitely upsetting. And because I mean, the thing about Chuck Berry is, in case you don't know, Chuck Berry was one of the artists that was one of the first who wrote his own songs and sang them too. I mean, of course, there was Buddy Holly as well, but one of the first real rock artists, because Elvis, of course, as a lot of you might know, that he never really wrote a song. Jerry Lee Lewis wrote like one song. That's the same with Bill Haley. Buddy Holly and Chuck Berry were the only ones that really wrote, and Little Richard also would write songs too. They were like the only really musicians that were big that wrote their own songs. And because the other songwriters, you had like Lieber and Stoller, and they were just like writing songs for like Elvis or other big acts. But the thing is, like, too, that's interesting about Chuck Berry's music is that he was speaking to a generation of teenagers with songs like Sweet Little 16, Johnny Be Good. I mean, he was bringing stories and like lyrics that like before Bob Dylan was around, like he was just like telling these really interesting stories that were just incredible in his songs. I mean, his lyrics were the best. I mean, they were just fun songs to listen to. I mean, that's what he made. I mean, rock and roll was supposed to be fun, and he made rock and roll fun. So, it's like that. So, yeah. And another thing I want to talk about today was a few things that will go into the topic. But I thought the one thing I wanted to talk about was because my friends and I this weekend were watching a little bit of the Grammys. We were gonna have like a little Grammy party online and all that stuff, but didn't really work out as much. And to be honest, like I gotta say, like the Grammys just didn't interest me. And I'm not a person honestly has watched the Grammys before because I'm not so much into new artists, and like the pandemic I think didn't help me get more into it for like the first time really watching it. I mean, I don't know, it's just like you would think that I would like it, but it's just like it's not my thing of like it's not my style of like the type of artists that they praise and all that stuff. And so the thing is like it just like I mean some I will admit like some artists like I actually did who won like Harry Styles, like I ended up listening to his song Watermelon Sugar that won for best pop tune, and honestly I thought it was actually pretty good. And I gotta say honestly about Harry Styles is because like in One Direction around like I wasn't a fan of them really. I thought that they were kind of like a goofy type of band, and I thought it was just a boy band and all that, but like I gotta say after they broke up and all that, and Harry Styles went solo, I mean, I think like he really like, gave a peak in his music, and which is similar to almost like the Beatles, which I mean, I don't know, because it's funny. Like, I joked that like, oh, One Direction's tunes were horrible, like like and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I haven't fully listened to all of them, so maybe there's some stuff that's good with them, but I don't know. I just felt they were kind of like a goofy type of pop band, and like I don't know. Maybe I'm being hypocritical, not seeing the whole picture, because some people thought of the Beatles that way. So they were like some people even I know still don't like their early stuff that much. I actually happen to love their early stuff. I think their early stuff is just as good as their later stuff. I know a lot of people say their later stuff is the best, and of course it is too. but their early stuff is just as good. I mean, of course, not of course there was a little bit of not the best, of course, if they were working and polishing themselves, but yeah, no, it's pretty good. Yeah, no, I think that's the thing too, like with One Direction, though. I think like what they were going for, because it's like, the reason why I have different views on One Direction and why I think they're a goofy pop band and the Beatles not, even though probably some guys did view that in the 60s. I don't know. But the reason why I would say that is because One Direction was different than the Beatles. The Beatles played their own instruments. One Direction, they were just a boy band, and they just sang. I'm not like for a lot of people who, and I don't think they wrote really most of their songs. So I'm not for groups that like boy bands that like just all sing and don't play instruments and have like a producer like write their songs. I mean, that's like kind of like the joke of the show Big Time Rush. But like I don't know, that's just not my kind of style of music. Even though like Big Time Rush came around, I do love some of their songs on the show. That was actually a good show. Yeah, but like anyway, no, I just think at least I got into that. And another song that I did get into recently was because after hearing so much praise from the Weeknd's performance at the Super Bowl, I heard his song Blinding Lights because I had a friend who even told me like he loved it and he thought it was the best song of 2020. And I thought it was pretty good too. I thought after listening to it, just the past few days and actually not even just yesterday, I listened to it for the first time. And that was the same with Watermelon Sugar. Like I listened to Watermelon Sugar for the first time too. And I thought they were actually pretty good because it's funny, like Watermelon Sugar, I was hearing so much talk about it and I'm like, what the hell is the song? And then I'm realizing, oh wow, okay. And I'm like, because I actually gotta say, when Harry Styles did his song "Sign of the Times" and released his I think debut solo album, I was really impressed. I thought it was a really cool, very different than One Direction, and because I never thought I'd get into Harry Styles, but that song I just thought was pretty good, and I'm it's hey, cool, because I guess you can change your views, because I thought when I was a kid, when Justin Bieber and One Direction were coming around, I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna be into these guys, and I'm not a Justin Bieber fan even now. I don't like his music now, but I know that some kids didn't like his music, but now now like it. I guess it's because they grew, they grew out of the pop phase, and then they did the music that was reaching to the people that were younger now, to this generation. So yeah, I guess that's cool, because now I know some people who really do like Justin Bieber guys, because it used to really just be girls. I mean, there was no guy who liked Justin Bieber. If a guy did like Justin Bieber in a school, everybody would look at them and would think they were strange. I mean, I'm not I don't mean to cause no, I mean, it's not wrong with that. It's just it was just very uncommon, really, because it was just and for me, ever since I was a kid, I was always into the old stuff, the 60s and 70s. I'm not I was never into the new stuff, and I still haven't changed so much, even though I have gotten more of appreciation for some new artists out there, because there really are some good. I mean, hell, I like Bruno Mars, I like Ed Sheeran, Maroon 5 I used to love, but after their Red Pill Blues album, I really started feeling like they went downhill after that. So yeah, but whatchamacallit? All right, let's see. Oh wow, okay, yeah, well we got about 4 people going on the Instagram live. I just want to see if there's any. Okay, nobody's commented on my YouTube one. Yeah, no, well, speaking of Bruno Mars, actually, that's kind of what I wanted to go to talk about was his performance at the Grammys, because we lost another important rock and roll artist last year, and that was Little Richard. And Bruno Mars, I gotta say, did a hell of a performance playing, Long Tall Sally and Good Golly Miss Molly, going into that Little Richard melody, and even dressing up like him. They did a really good job, because it was I gotta say, the one thing to do that kind of performance and to honor somebody in 2021 just shows you, because in the 50s, is basically the 50s decade is now will be 70 years from this decade. So to show that they still appreciate it and that Little Richard's legacy will never die just means a lot, honestly. And I think it meant a lot to me personally, because I'm okay, he's still remembered and he'll always be remembered. Because I got really upset, I felt because when Little Richard died, I felt he did not get the praise that a lot of other big musicians got. And I feel a lot of it had to do with because of his age and the 50s. '80s time, because like, more artists, more people I knew in like, school, or people my age listened to like music from like, like the 20th century, but it was more like, like the '70s, the '80s, the '60s, not so much the '50s. So I'm really glad that that they did that tribute, because it just shows you that he'll live on forever, and it's a shame that he's gone, and we only really have Jerry Lee Lewis left, and he's 85, so and Don Everly too from the Everly Brothers, but they're like really the only two that are really like left of the rockers. They're all the original rockers are like all gone, and no, it's upsetting, but but no, I think it just shows you that like these people were able to, with artists like Bruno Mars, I think it shows you that these people were able to pioneer something that musicians take in today. Like you might not know that you might not even think that Bruno Mars takes inspiration from like Little Richard and stuff like that, or like all other artists. Like you might not thought that, because maybe you don't listen to Little Richard that much and all that. But that's the thing that I think might be good too, because it might inspire people, like by doing that performance, it might inspire people to start listening to his music. And that's kind of what the main topic of this video is today. So there were two reasons why I wanted to talk about this, was because I felt like, the Grammys inducts, and celebrates the new artists of today. But it's the audience, their target audience is of course everybody, but of course young kids, I think, to appreciate the new music. But I think that the people in this generation should also appreciate musicians that were in the 50s and 60s that don't still get the appreciation that they deserve, or some didn't get any that they should have even back then. And so that's what we're going to go into more today. So the artists I wanted to talk about, which I made a playlist on Amazon, and I'm going to go through a list of the songs, and I think I'm hoping you guys will like it, and all that. And so the artists that I'm going to go into are actually also to do this too was because it's funny because the day of the Grammys, like I was going to watch it with a friend of mine, but then like stuff happened where it was like he had to do something, and then like I couldn't watch the Grammys anymore, so I decided to watch the movie One Night in Miami that Regina King directed, which, in case you guys don't know, it takes place in 1964, and is about like a one night with Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, like he was still Cassius Clay, which goes into like that, like he's gonna name himself Muhammad Ali after that night. Like Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, and Jim Brown, and it's a really good movie about that, like because it takes place after like Muhammad Ali beats Sonny Liston for the first time, the funniest thing is like it is a fictional it's a fictional event, but like it honestly like kind of like I think honestly kind of captures the mood of what was going on with all of them at the time. And of course this event didn't really like fully happen to that way. I mean, I don't know if all four of them got together like that. I mean, I know Muhammad Ali, I think, was close with all of those three guys. I don't know how much of a relationship Sam Cooke had with Malcolm X. I mean, I'm sure they all had a relationship, but it's an interesting story because all four people were had such a big legacy, and they all in different paths. I mean, of course, Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown were both like, athletics, but Sam Cooke in the music industry, and, Malcolm X being an activist and all that stuff. And, that's the thing. I think it was a great movie because it's like, and I think, thank God that there was like, a new movie that came out that featured people like Sam Cooke, because I don't feel like Sam Cooke gets appreciated for his music and all that, and I just like, so that's like kind of what made me want to do that too. So let's dive into this, but first let me see, let me read a few comments let me get my glasses on. Okay, oh wow, we have a few people joining on Instagram. Wow, thanks guys for joining. Okay, so somebody commented, Maroon 5 only had one good album, and then it basically became just Adam Levine. Bruno Mars used to dress up as Elvis as a kid. There are video. Yeah, I know, I saw that because I saw his 60 Minutes interview actually, where like about a few years ago when 24 Karat Magic came out, I thought like that was pretty I thought it was interesting that he started out in Hawaii. And Maroon 5, well no, songs about James was good. I mean, to be honest, I think honestly, their second and their third album were even good. I just think they started going like, I think like once Moves Like Jagger came out, that's when they got too commercial. And I gotta say though, to be honest, even though I say that, I still think that was a good song, and songs like Payphone were good, and even like Sugar, but I knew they were getting too commercial. But once Red Pill Blues, I'm like, oh my god, like they lost their mojo completely. And yeah, I mean, like what you're saying, like with Adam Levine, yeah, he became like that was the problem too. Like Adam Levine became too much of a commercial star that kind of took away from the band and stuff like that. You know, being on The Voice and all that, he became more of like a TV personality and all that, too. So you know, that's how people remember him really now too. You know, so let's go into So let me go into my Amazon playlist and. Yeah, so here. Before so let me go into that, and then I'm going to explain the rules of this little thing that I did, you know, because I didn't want to drag it on too long. So what I decided to do was talk about like do 16 songs for both. Okay, so actually 8 songs for each artist, and I kind of like put it into. So I put James Brown and Sam Cooke like together, and like a Ricky Nelson and Richie Valens together in the same kind of category too. Because I feel like James Brown and Sam Cooke kind of go in almost the same category of their type of genre of music, and Ricky Nelson and Richie Valens too, because of their teen idol kind of thing, because James Brown and Sam Cooke are more of like, Sam Cooke definitely more soul, James Brown R&B, so that's why I thought that would work well. So all right, let me just get onto Amazon Music, because like it's funny, I forgot, because I'm using 3 devices, like my phone, my iPad, and all that stuff, so I'm gonna have to go through on my laptop, which everybody will still see my face, but let me just go to Amazon Music, and we'll get into it. All right, cool. Let's go to my playlist. I can be so stupid sometimes and not like know where my freaking playlist is. Oh, okay. Oh, wow, that was easy today. So it's always easy. Oh wait, no, not this one. Oh, okay. So I just titled it like artists to listen to. So yeah. All right. So to start it off, like so we're gonna start off with Sam Cooke and James Brown songs, and we're gonna go like back and forth for that, and then we'll go to Ricky Nelson and Richie Valens. So to start it off, this playlist, I thought with "You Send Me" by Sam Cooke, and that I think is just a beautiful song because it's what got him started as a rock and roll artist. Sam Cooke actually was started out as a soul singer with a gospel group, and he was big in the gospel community, but he wanted to head into rock. And some people even thought that was dangerous for him to go into that, from going to like being like a full gospel singer to a rock singer. But he realized that gospel wasn't paying the bills. Rock music paid the bills for him, and that's what he did. And "You Send Me," I gotta say, I mean, how could you not love this song? I mean, it's such a beautiful tune. The harmonies from the female backing vocals are great. I mean, it's just such a great the guitar parts are all mellow, just very just like a little thing you can just like bop your head to, and give a little gentle clap. And I mean, it just comes out very gentle. Sam Cooke's voice is just so soothing, just like I mean, it's just like it really, I think, does put a smile on your face, I think. And that came out in 1957, so that was like his first like hit and all that. And now to go to James Brown's first hit, which was "Please Please Please" in 1956. Now like this song, because it's funny, because I heard of James Brown when I was a kid, and he died when I was in 2nd grade, and I knew him as a 60s artist, but he started out as the 50s. That's the same with Sam Cooke. I mean, they both of them started from the 50s and were able to transfer to having really good hits in the 60s. And not a lot of artists, I could say, really had that. Like a lot of artists from the 50s, I think, had a really hard transition of going to having big hits in the 50s to the 60s. Some artists there were an exception, like those two. But yeah, no, "Please Please Please" was like his first song that came out. I forget how much of a hit it was, but he did it with the Famous Flames, and it's a very it's definitely R&B. Very soft. It's not like it's not like too in your face. like the call and response between James Brown and this group is pretty good. And yeah, like the beat's pretty soft and all that. And no, I definitely recommend that. And that came out in 1956. And so moving on to Sam Cooke's song in 1959, Everybody Loves to Cha Cha Cha. And yeah, and that came out in 1959, and that's a really fun song. Really like a party song. That's the thing with Sam Cooke. Like, I mean, he really could put a smile on your face, and that's the thing. Like, that's like the main theme I have like with his music. I mean, he just like, there was something about his voice that you just loved, and like, like he really makes you like attached with his music, and like, and it's a fun party song, and it's a really good song. To like, just really, like definitely a dance song. It was probably big dance on the 50s. Songs I even dance to now, even if it's older, it's fun. Just cha cha cha, And then we got in 1959 James Brown's I Want You So Bad. Yeah, no. So this was actually a pretty good song because very like it is softer too. The music is really good as well. His voice is really, I mean, James Brown definitely had that like good, raspy voice that just like, was, coming at you like that. And that was pretty good. Just hearing it like with the melody and the saxophone and all that, you know, very, just, you could tell it's definitely, you can tell it's like definitely a good you tell it's a 50 song, but just a song that just to vibe with, honestly. Hey. And then we have a song that goes back to actually 1958, which is Try Me, which was like kind of like his second big song after Please Please Please. Yeah, that was like, I think because that was his first album and stuff like that. And it honestly has some similarities to I Want You So Bad, but he really does like yeah, like it's definitely because when you think of two songs, you're thinking of one song, and then you realize you're going to the other, and that's what I did with "Try Me." But it's a beautiful song. That like when I mean beautiful, like just like no, it's beautifully done. I mean, of course, it's not like a love song, but it just is a really kind of very soulful song, and definitely represents him in his catalog. And that's what I was trying to go for with these 8 songs for all of them. I'm trying to go for like not so much the signature tunes, but the songs that spoke out to me from 10 years ago. And Elton John is the man. Yeah, no, I know. And I think you've seen like some of the stuff I've done about Elton John. Yeah, no, of course he's great. And I'll probably do a video soon, probably maybe doing some songs about Elton John. That's a good idea. All right, so another song now going back to Sam Cooke is from 1960 called What a Wonderful World. And this is where like his, party type of stuff, or like his, like popish stuff is coming, is going away and coming into a little bit more of, like speaking the truth. And I think, in a sense, of course, the lyrics are not so inspirational, but I think he's showing that just like as like, I mean, definitely is a love song, but the message like just makes you feel good. Like if as a quote, what a wonderful world this would be. I think like I love the lyrics. Like I remember when I listened to it for the first time, I thought it was very funny because I was in 6th grade, so I was doing a lot of the classes that he mentioned. Like don't know much about history, don't know much about biology. I mean, I just thought that was really funny. I thought they're very like funny tongue-in-cheek lyrics, and yeah, and no, and the backing vocals this time from a male group is pretty good. And yeah, I mean that's what I have to say about that. And then going to another Sam Cooke song from 1962, which is probably known to be one of his most signature songs, which is What a Wonderful no, not I mean Bring It On Home to Me. And the first time I actually heard it was from John Lennon's Rock and Roll album, which I actually did a video on about a year ago. Yeah, so that and it's a the thing about Bring It On Home to Me is definitely this is because like I said, like when we get into the 60s of Sam Cooke, we see more of like his lyrics coming more, more sophisticated and stuff like that. And Bring It On Home to Me is definitely a sophisticated song. a feel good type song, but like, it has like this message, and it's hard for me to really describe what it is, but it definitely brings something peaceful. And like, it's hard to go like into the whole part of the story of it, but I feel like, yeah, it definitely has like such a peaceful message for everybody out there and all that. And it's very, soft spoken, and just like it's something that you can listen to like wherever, in the car, home, the bathtub, hey, um, but yeah. And then now we're gonna go into another big 60s song from James Brown, which is "I Got You, I Feel Good." And yeah, no, that was like the big song of the 60s. That was like one of his biggest hits in the 60s. And it's, I mean, I remember listening to it as a kid. That was the first James Brown song I heard. That they were played in like cartoons and stuff like that. And it's just like, I mean, it is a feel good song, just dancing around, but definitely has a very big good groove, with like, I mean, that rhythm section, I mean, God, with him, like, I feel good, and instead of a backing vocals, like the instruments are the backing vocals going like the ba na 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 na, and it's just like it sticks in your brain. Like, you'll have like these songs that will stick into your brain where you hear somebody go like, "Wow, I feel good," and then you just think in your head like the ba na 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 na. I knew that I would, yeah. But no, yeah, and it's definitely a song to dance to. I mean, I would think you'd probably want to dance to it by yourself because it'd probably be goofy like my dance. But yeah, I mean, when I think of dance to that song, I think of of course the Robin Williams film Good Morning Vietnam, where he's dancing to that song as the DJ. But okay, then we got going to another Sam Cooke song from, okay, so Bring On Home to Me was 1962. James Brown's I Got You, I Feel Good was 1965. And Sam Cooke we have from 1963. Yeah, we're going a little bit back. I know we're going back and forth, but hey, because I thought of this more as like a mood, not so much, even though as much as I love going in the chronological order, I felt like this would be better as like kind of more of like a mood thing. So we got now we got another Saturday Night, which definitely I think just can be an example, can just be something that everybody can relate to at some point. Like, another Saturday night and I ain't got nobody. I just got some I have some money. I just got paid. I wish I had somebody to talk to him in an awful way. I think just expresses loneliness, and it's like Saturday night because Saturday night's known as like date night, and they don't want to be alone. So yeah, I think pretty good example there. And now we're going to James Brown's another song, big hit from 1965, which is "Papa's Got a Brand New Bag." And I mean, this song is really just like, oh, wow, all over the place. Like, damn, it's off the wall, really. And it's just like it goes from here to there, jumps like it's like it jumps out of you of the radio, like you can just see like James Brown jumping out, doing the dances, because that's what because I remember I saw a clip of him doing dancing to this song when he performed it. Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place. Hard to like really go more into like quote the lyrics because it's a hard song to sing, but everybody of course can remember the "Papa's got a brand new bag," and then like the clicking, the dinning music, like the yeah. And then I thought of going into, because it's funny because like when I listened to the song, I thought of it more as like I didn't know that there was more to it, and it was released as like two parts for a 45, because when a song goes over a certain limit, like they have to go to like like a part, they have to go to like a part 2 and all that, and that's what that song, and that's what that song did. So it goes into more of an instrumental break. So I mentioned that, which is part 2 of Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, because the sax just really like goes into it, just like it's like it's like a really like it's like I don't know, I think it's more described for like a bass, like a long walk, but definitely feels like like kind of like a long walk, or just like kind of a very just vibing, being at a club and just seeing the saxophone player just, wailing it. And, even like, I mean, hey, playing this live, James Brown was probably dancing all over the place because, he was an incredible performer. Yeah, no. So, another song, from the 60s we got is, "Twisting the Night Away." And, that's a fun song. Another dance song, which is a few years later from a few years later from whatchamacallit, Everybody Loves a Cha Cha Cha, because that was in 1959. But a really good song. And yeah, Twisting the Night Away, I've always thought was a very fun song to listen to and dance to. It's the way he does it, like, yeah, even being in 1962. I mean, just like very, it's very very swinging, man. It's swinging. And that's pretty much what to say about that. Okay, so now we go into the last two songs for both of these artists. And this song, of course, is a signature song and a beautiful song, and which was mentioned in One Night in Miami. And I think it's the most incredible song. And it's A Change Is Gonna Come. And it was it's oh wait, hold on. Oh, I think my volume went out. Sorry, I thought my volume went out. Okay. Yeah, no, it's a really beautiful song. And yeah, you're right. Everybody knows that song. I Feel Good. Yeah. So yeah. No. But yeah. I mean, this song. I mean, how could what I don't know, like, what has not been already said about it. I mean, it's a song about civil rights. And he wrote it and recorded in 64. And yeah, this was going around during the civil rights movement. And it's just such beautiful lyrics. I mean, the start of it with the horns, like the violins, then going to the horns, really setting the mood. And then him going to that very soulful, like, I was born by the river in a little tent. And then you're hooked on the story because you're listening to it more and more, and it goes into a real full story. And and just like the river, I've been running ever since. And I mean, that's really powerful lyrics. And going into stuff like I go to the movies and I go downtown, and somebody tells me don't hang around, and like the greatest part of like the chorus is, it's been a long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Oh yes, it will. It's just it's such a good mantra. And I think it's just something that especially during this time, even now, like, I mean, during like the past presidential administration, I don't mean to get too political, or with COVID, or of course with everything going on with Black Lives Matter. I mean, I think it just represents a perfect song for that. And I think it's an anthem that should go on. I mean, it's definitely, if I had to pick like one, like my favorite songs of all time, I mean, that would definitely be one of them. Because yeah, it's amazing. And a thing to mention about this is, because he talks about it in the movie, and because he actually, the reason how he got inspired to write this beautiful masterpiece was from Bob Dylan's Blown in the Wind. And there's actually a version of him doing it live, and that's on my playlist too, of him doing it live at the Copa. And the funny story I have about that is because I didn't know them. Like, I knew who Bob Dylan was when I was a kid, but I wasn't a Bob Dylan fan. I didn't really know until a few years later that like my dad was a huge Bob Dylan fan, really. But like anyway, so I'm on YouTube, and this is like, I was in middle school, so I was like, I think like 6th grade, and I go on YouTube and I hear and I see Sam Cooke, because I was curious of Sam Cooke songs, so I look up Sam Cooke from 1964 doing "Blown in the Wind," because I saw that and I wanted to hear it because I never heard the song, I never heard of it before, and I thought, well, damn, this is pretty good. And I was telling mom and dad about it. It's like, oh, listen to a Sam Cooke song, "Blown in the Wind." I'm like, "Blown in the Wind, that's Bob Dylan." I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? That was a Bob Dylan song? Because I thought it was strange. I was like, wait, Bob Dylan wrote a song that Sam Cooke is covering? Like, it didn't make sense to me right away. Which I found out later that, of course, Bob Dylan wrote it, did it, and then he made a hit for Peter, Paul, and Mary, and it became like, a big anthem in the 60s too. And it inspired Sam Cooke to write like a motivational song, and it worked. And his performance of it is pretty good too, because it's funny. Like, I thought like, the funniest thing is "Blown in the Wind" is one of the biggest Bob Dylan songs out there. And I thought at first was Sam Cooke's song, because that Sam Cooke was the first version I heard of it, and wow. So to go into, so those are the Sam Cooke stuff. And two more James Brown stuff we got is from the 70s. We got Sex Machine, which is from 71, which I know, if you guys think the title's funny, yeah. And I mean, it's just, it has some title to the James Brown film that came out with Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. Him doing which called "Get On Up" because that's in the middle because that like keep goes on through the song like "Get on up, stay on the scene like a sex machine." Yeah, no, but it's a really it's a fun song to just like go with the funk and all that, and like no, it's really funky and really cool. And like just like it's like you can definitely like like dance to that. I feel like stroll to that, like somebody even said on the comments one time, like saying like this is something you can like really like strut with when you're walking. And it's funny because that like earlier in the day I did do that when I was going for a jog. I took a break and started walking, and this song came on and I just started like just strutting, and just like it's really like you go with the rhythm, like stay on the scene, and then you just like and you're just going around with it like bump bump bump, yeah. Yeah. And then we got another song that was actually a big song in the late 70s from him, was The Payback, which is, I know, from an album of his. And I don't know that much. I got to listen to, the album or just like more songs from him in the 70s because I don't know that many James Brown songs. I only know like a few of the big signature songs. I mean, of course, I know a few others that weren't mentioned in this list, but I think it's an interesting, because funny, the first time I heard about this song was from Everybody Hates Chris. Like where Chris has to get the song and stuff like that for something, I forget why, but no, if you listen to it, definitely another, he definitely brings that 70s funk, like what he did in Sex Machine, to The Payback, and hearing that is just really, it's a 7-minute song, so it is interesting to go like fully into that. I mean, the bass lines are pretty good, like bass line I think is like kind of even almost like what kind of like picks up the song and leads it kind of, and it's pretty good. So now we got we're done with talking about James Brown, Sam Cooke. Now we got to go to Richie Valens and Ricky Nelson. So, in case you guys don't know about Richie Valens, he was also the guy who died with Buddy Holly in the plane crash with the Big Bopper, and he was the youngest of them. And it's funny because Richie Valens came out with 3 big hits. And the thing that's the most funniest, well, like just the most shocking thing about it is that his career was only 8 months, from July of 1958 to like February of 1959. I mean, like, I remember like Lou Diamond Phillips, the guy who played him in La Bamba. I mean, that's a lot of living in like just 8 months. I mean, like, I haven't done that much living in 8 months. I mean, I'm 22, and there's no way I've done anything close to what he did at 17, mind you. I mean, I think that's just incredible, and definitely had some really good songs. Definitely was a talent, and we lost him too soon, because honestly, it would have been really amazing to see what he could have done in the 60s. And knowing him, I really do think he could have traveled far, because even though I guess like, he could be labeled in the teen idols, he was not, so much like, I think like almost as, maybe the words like, cause it's funny. Well, like, kind of not like planned by the industry almost in a sense, kind of like almost like, some people, like my friend Anthony told me, like an industry plant, like he told me about like what that means, like these kind of like like Ricky Nelson, people like Frankie Avalon, they were like people that you seem like were just like a product that were made, and Richie Valance just came, like he came poor, he was poor, and started himself just being a self-taught musician, playing the guitar, and he did a good job at it. And so let's go into some of Richie Valance stuff, and then we'll go to Ricky Nelson. So we got, for Richie Valance, we got We Belong Together. And it's a song from a duo called Frankie and Johnny. And it's really beautiful how he does it. It's like, it's very soft. The guitar licks go really good. Almost sounds like something that could be even doo-wop, played on guitar. No, I think just, that's very, smooth and all that, I guess, is a good word to put that. And now let's go into a little bit of Ricky Nelson, because we'll flip-flop back and forth to Ricky and Richie. That's funny. Ricky or Richie? Ricky to Richie. All right. So now Ricky Nelson, let's go into him. Now Ricky Nelson, yeah, was definitely more of a polished kind of, like, like more of like he was planned in a sense, like he was already in the industry in a sense because his parents had a radio show and then of course their TV show, which was the whole Nelson family, Ozzie and Harriet, and which featured Ricky as a kid and his brother David. And yeah, Ricky, of course, was like, started off as like, like the cute kid who had like the comedy lines. David, his brother, was more of like the straight character. Yeah, I think they gave Ricky a lot of the funny lines to do. But yeah, in around like when he was 16, 17, he started planning to do music from, people who he was inspired by, like Elvis, Carl Perkins, and all that. And yeah, no, he started off and he started off doing music on the show, and then he started getting a record contract with Imperial Records, yeah, no, and he just like definitely had like out of all those teen idols, like people like Paul Anka, Frankie Avalon, Ricky Nelson is my favorite really of that, because Richie Valens wouldn't even be considered really teen idol. I kind of call it that more just because he was a teenager, but like he didn't have, I think, as much of a star status as those people. But yeah, but anyway, Ricky Nelson really did a good job with going from certain pop songs to elevating more, and his career I think lasted more of like from 57 to 1963. And, we know why it ended in 63 because we know what happened in 64, the British invasion, and a lot of American artists, that were from the 50s that were maybe even having a little hits in the early 60s were basically gone, after the Beatles and the Rolling Stones came, so yeah, I think that took a mark. And, even though Ricky Nelson was still doing some stuff, he wasn't as popular. And like his star kind of like, flamed, it kind of flamed out. And hey, that's going to happen in the business. That's just a part of life in this business, in the music business. So, and anything in entertainment, you have like a good highlight moment, and then you just, you disappear, and people don't care as much as they did, or are as much of a fan as they used to be, and pay that much attention as they did. But anyway, no, so we'll start it off with one of the first songs that he did in 1957, which was a Fats Domino cover, which was "I'm Walking." And I don't know if that was like the first song he ever performed on the show doing music, but no, he brings the song good. I mean, I got to admit, his teen stuff from his songs from 17 when he was 17 are not, the best, of course he got more polished around like 59 to like, 60, 61 and all that. But, some of the 50 stuff is good. Yeah, and it definitely has a good, like guitar beat. And, I mean, his voice is, not, of course, like maybe such an iconic or like something that's so like, of a distinguished, like has like kind of a distinction, like somebody like maybe Elvis or Frank Sinatra or Ray Charles. But his voice was very generic. But I mean, no, he definitely had a good singing voice. I mean, he didn't suck. I mean, no, and the song is pretty good. But it was one of his early songs, and he was able to go and do better stuff. Now let's go to Richie Valen's first really big hit, which was "Come On, Let's Go," and yeah. No, it's a very it's very rocky. I like the guitar solo in between. That works really well. Almost got kind of like the Chuck Berry vibes, and hell, even you could tell where the Beach Boys even got some of their stuff, because the Beach Boys talked about how Richie Valens was sort of, an inspiration with them, because hell, Richie Valens was from California, he's from Pacoima, and yeah, he was on Delphi Records and stuff like that, and discovered by Bob Keane, which in the La Bamba movies played by Joey Pantalone. I think I'm saying his name right. I mean, I know some people call him Joey P. Been in a lot of stuff, he was in The Sopranos, he was in that. Yeah, no, them a while to do it, but like the song, but yeah, sorry, my phone paused for a second. It's no big deal, but no, yeah, the song just works really well, I think, and just a very fun tune. And now we got, for Ricky Nelson, one of his first really big hits was "Bebop Baby," and that really is just a good hey, it's popping, just like almost like, I don't know if it's like, if you'd say like 50s, like 12 bar blues, but definitely has that, rhythm, and like how it's mentioned in the song, like plenty of rhythm for plenty of jive. And I think that's honestly how I would describe the record, honestly. And his performance of it on the show is pretty good, with the way they filmed it. Of course, all his stuff was basically lip synced, but the way they had some of his performances were pretty good. But so yeah, and so now you know what, I want to go a little bit more this time, a little bit in chronological order, because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm more in that mood now. So let's go to 1959's It's Late. And It's Late is a really, one of my favorite Ricky Nelson songs. Very funny story, almost similar to like the Everly Brothers Wake Up a Little Susie, where they go, where these two teenagers go on a date, and they fall asleep, and they have to go home now, and they're worried like whether they're gonna tell their parents. With this song, it's kind of the same kind of thing, where it's like, it's late, we gotta get on home, we're gonna run out of gas. Just very fun, fun lyrics of that represent like a teen and stuff like that, and like even like showing like kind of like debating and contradicting themselves, like if we could have got home at 8:45, would have had plenty of time, we got started just a little too late, hope this won't be our last date. Just very fun lyrics. It's like, I hope I didn't screw this up too much. And like like, look up, is that the moon we see? Can't be, looks like the sun to me. Like, so it just shows you that they've been out too long. And like the funniest thing is like he's saying like he doesn't want to he's like, I hate to face your dad, I know he's gonna be mad. Just like, no, I mean, very, very funny. And yeah, no, so those really go well with it. And then there's the guitar solo from I think James Burden was that. And James Burden played Ricky Nelson for a little bit, and of course James Burden is known as one of the greatest kind of like session players and all that. He played with Elvis too, played with a lot of stuff, and he plays it pretty well. So let's go to like other okay, so we got for Richie Valens, let's see. We got Ooh My Head. And that came out that was around like 58, 59 as well. Because Richie Valens, like most of his stuff was in 58, so it's hard to tell exactly from research I had of like when he recorded all his songs. Maybe there's a place I can find of a list of chronological order of all his songs, but Ooh My Head was actually the only song where you can find Richie Valens that has a full TV appearance of him. Like, that's the only time you can see him on camera performing. Apparently, he did perform on American Bandstand, but that's possible got deleted, because I think some artists that performed on that did get deleted. And it's funny, an interesting fact is, from what I found, is every basically big artist was on American Bandstand, except for, which is funny, like, is Elvis and Ricky Nelson. It's so generic that it's like they were the only two that did not perform, which is funny. Anyway, it's fun. It's funny that whatchamacallit, that like with Ooh My Head, it's very like because I remember when I told my grandpa about that song, because he never heard that song before, and he thought it was so funny. He's like, "Ooh My Head, that's a weird lyric." And no, it's just like it's sort of like kind of like it mentions songs from other artists like Peggy Sue, Boney Maroney, Tutti Frutti, Lollipop. Mentions a lot of those songs, and just very just a very fun kind of like goofy kind of song to go on. And it was in the movie Go Johnny Go, which is about a guy who becomes a star, and the guy was Jimmy Clanton, who also had some hits like Just a Dream. Chuck Berry was a big star in the movie, and you see in the scene of Richie Valens performing the song, he's playing it to two girls who were sitting at a table, and and Chuck Berry and Alan Freed are there just watching him. And so like they're watching him perform with, I forget who the other guy is in it, but and then also you see Richie Valens sitting with the girls, I think before, when Chuck Berry plays the song Little Queenie, and you see him clapping with the girls and stuff like that. And that's the only thing on YouTube that you can find of Little Richard with it. I mean, Richie with Richie Valens on a TV appearance, Like, I don't think there's anything else that's out there. I mean, of course, there was some, like, home footage, but not like that. And there's a live recording show that was released in an album in 1960 of him playing at his high school in Pacoima. I think it was like the end of 58 and stuff like that. I think, yeah, it was released as an album, like, after he died in 1960. Because he didn't, it's funny, because he didn't have any albums released when he was alive. After he died, they released, all his hits into like two big albums and stuff like that, which were would be considered studio albums, considering that there were some songs that of course didn't make it a single. So no, he did record a lot, and I think he was probably planned for an album, but the songs probably didn't come out because like I said, it's like his career was only 8 months, so it's like he did not have a lot of time to do so much. So he was really lucky to do what he was able to do in that time, which I think is still incredible and still, quite of an accomplishment, So anyway, to mention more of, okay, let's see. Oh, hey, Anthony. Yeah. No, yeah. So let's go more into, because I went a little too far into that. Oh, all right, I gotta get my volume back. Fuck. Okay, no, my volume went out. Okay, sorry about that. This like fucking sucks. I'm hoping my volume's not so bad here. Damn, I'm gonna have to check. All right, hopefully it's not too bad. Anyway, yeah, no. So, now let's go to So we're gonna go to we got that. Let's see. All right, now we're gonna go to 1961 for Ricky Nelson, and in 1961, Ricky Nelson had two big songs on a single, which was, sometimes a big deal. That what they do was an ace. Because of course with 45s, they had an A side and a B side, and the B side was always a song that was not as great as the A side, and so a song that they wouldn't always really listen to, but sometimes I think it was really started with Elvis, which was to have a record that was both an A side and not a B side. Like, because Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel were both A side records, because there's no way one of them could be a B side. They were both, incredibly phenomenal hits. So it's good that they consider them equal on the record. And that's the same with, Hello Mary Lou and Traveling Man. They decided to just do that as like both an A side kind of record and stuff like that, because they were both like they were both his probably biggest signature hit songs. And like I said, like I mentioned in like 8 memorable songs, and I didn't mention Garden Party, and I know some people might be upset about that, but I just felt like I wanted to go more into I was going more into a mood of like the 50s and 60s. And it's not that like maybe there will be a time I will talk about the song Garden Party, because it is a great song and it's definitely something that is another signature song of his. But I just felt like for this type of playlist that I was showing, that's maybe not the best, wasn't probably the best type of thing to show at that moment, but I'll do it another time. But anyway, yeah, so Traveling Man is a really, just very like, it's kind of folksy, and when I first heard it, I didn't really like it that much. I kind of grew more into it. I thought it was kind of very just like bland, and just like I thought the backing vocals at first were just like too much, and it was just like, and this was the first time I was really getting into Ricky Nelson, because I wanted to learn more about Ricky Nelson, and because I knew Garden Party, but I didn't really know any of his other songs. So I looked Traveling Man, and that was the first song, and I was like, this isn't Ricky Nelson? I mean, I thought like this guy was like pretty good, and I thought this guy had like really like hit songs. Then of course I found out of course there were other good ones, but yeah, no, he did, I think. But the thing that's interesting about this song is, of course, this was most of his songs when he played on TV were on, his TV show, Ozzy and Harriet. It's like, that's the funny thing about him, is he didn't have to do that many TV appearances on other shows, because he had his own show, Yeah, no, so it's performed as like, he's performing, I don't know, like where, I guess they're just performing at some like dance party or something like that. But the most interesting thing about that type of, in that moment in the show, was what they decided to do was have him dissolve into video clips, because the plot of the story is about a guy who has gone all over the world, met a lot of girls in different countries and all that, and just lives life and has a really a good time, And yeah, like I mean, like no, so it's very interesting, just very funny lyrics, but just it's a story, like like I mean, it's definitely brings a little bit more rock. It's a very folk-ish kind of tune, but of course, James Byrne's got a good guitar licks and a good guitar solo, but the clips of the all the countries and stuff like that, and him dissolved into it. Some people even consider that like the first music video out there, and this was in 1961. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that's incredible. And I think it kind of works pretty well. And yeah, no, it's a fun song, and like the chorus and like the ending of the song is really catchy. Like, whoa, I'm a traveling man. So yeah. And well, while we're on his A-side songs, let's go into his other A-side song that's on the record is "Hello, Mary Lou." Now, I can't say like I don't know if I'd like any either song better, but no, I mean "Hello, Mary Lou" is just a great tune about loving a girl and all that. Very like it's like I don't know, just like it kind of has like a mood of just feeling like emotional, even though there's nothing really that much emotional about it. But the way his singing is, he does in it, like the way he sings at it, and in the end, like it just like it brings like a really kind of like beautiful type of I don't know, vibe to it. And like there's a clip in the show of him performing it, and like his parents watching it, like feeling like seeing him being happy and all that stuff. And I don't know, I just think something about it just makes it like kind of like a happy type of thing. And there's two versions that they did of it on the show, of him performing it without the guitar solo, and then there's one of him performing it, which is funny because there's a harmony, there's another voice on it. Now I forget if that's like, I don't know. It sounds a little like him. I don't know if they overdubbed it or there's somebody else who was on the record. Like I don't know if like James, because I know in the clip James Byrne is in alone, but that could have just been for the show goof of them lip syncing. There could have been I don't know if there's somebody else in the backing vocals for that. I gotta. It'd be interesting to see if I could figure that out or find that out. No, but there's another version of him doing it with, I think, I don't even know if the other guy who's the bass player is there. It's just him, James Byrne, and the drummer. And actually, the bass player was another guy who was in. It's funny because I mentioned that documentary, The Wrecking Crew. He was the bass player in that, that, and he played with Ricky Nelson too. But anyway, give him a little off topic. But yeah, in Hello, Mary Lou, in that version, he's playing by himself and he sings alone and all that. And he does a good job just like singing without the backing vocal. And I think like both of those versions are pretty good. But like like yeah, like I sort of like that version. I mean, even though I do love the record with the harmony too. But yeah, so let's go into now Richie Valens. Now he had a single that had two big hit songs, yet they didn't do it. They didn't release it as a double A side though. Yet, even though these songs are totally both A sides, which is Donna and La Bamba. And so Donna was the A side. And Donna is about a song about a girl that Richie was seeing. Her name was Donna, of course, and he just wrote it, and it's a beautiful song, and hell, I like my aunt was even named Donna after this song, and it's just it's a beautiful song, very one of the great love songs out there, especially from the 50s, but something that you could even bring on today. Of course, if somebody knew somebody named Donna, I'm sure like a lot of people would joke with that song, like oh Donna, oh Donna. Yeah, but no. So yeah, and then of course the B side is La 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 Bamba. Yeah, which it's funny because of course it's like I said, it's definitely another A side. I don't know why that wasn't released as like a double A side, but okay. Yeah, and no, he does. And what La Bamba basically is rock and roll in Spanish, because Richie Valance. Why do I keep saying Little Richard? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah. No, I think it's funny how with some artists, like some people don't even know that this is Richie Valens, because when you hear it on the radio, you hear the Los Lobos version, because Los Lobos was the group that did the song in the movie that did the stuff for him, and did all the lip syncing for Lou Diamond Phillips, and they did all the Richie Valens songs. But no, the original, I mean, of course, is the one that you should listen to. And yeah, no, that's the funniest thing is like yeah, because he's bringing his Spanish roots because he is of course a Hispanic, and yeah, and it's funny because Richie Valens was not like his actual with the T, it was yeah, I think like Richard, Valenzuela, yeah, something like that. That was his name. So, but Bob King thought he should make it short and then put a T in Richie, and all that. I think of course he was reluctant at first, and if you see the movie La Bamba, it shows you that. But yeah, no, how could you not love the song? I mean, I know people probably already know the song, and definitely a good dance tune of the 50s. Yeah, like it was something that definitely ended it in 58. Probably be more of a big hit in 59 and all that. So yeah. All right. So we're kind of coming near the end now. So we got a few last songs. Oh, a song. Okay, well, yeah. So these songs are gonna be a little bit out of order, which is fine. But because, like I said, I wanted to go more into like how I felt the mood of the stuff would go. So now we got that we'll mention Richie Valens' "Hurry Up." Now, these were songs in the late, like he recorded these songs like before he went on the Winter Dance Party tour, which was unfortunately the tour that took his life. And it was a song that it was one of the few songs that it wasn't released as a single, but I think I remember reading that this was a song that like they were thinking it would be like his next big hit, like a La Bamba and stuff like that. And the person who wrote it was what was her name? I'll say it in a second because she wrote a lot of songs for a lot of the big artists out there, like Ricky Nelson. She wrote Ricky Nelson's "Poor Little Fool." She was Eddie Cochran's girlfriend and engaged to him before he tragically died in 1960. Yeah, it's like Sheila. What's her? Okay, let me find out. Here. I will find out in a second. Don't worry, guys. Okay. Yeah. Shari Shealy. Okay. And yeah. And no, it's very like it's just very teenager lyrics, and but the guitar being the beginning, and Richie Valens definitely has a definitely good vocal style. Of course, he's not the best singer out there, but because he's a little rough around the edges, but he sings it pretty good, and he sings his heart out with it. Brings a lot of of passion into it. Yeah, that's what I think is really good about it. And then we got a Ricky Nelson song, which is from 1963, called "Fools Rush In," and I think it was probably one of his like big last hits, probably before there was a decline of all that. No, I mean it's a sweet song because like it's funny. It shows a true. It basically in the story. Basically, in the story of the song is, fools rush in. Fools rush in to fall in love. Like people fall in love too quickly, and like wise men never fall. Like wise men, know to not get into somebody who they don't think is going to be serious, but they don't fall in love. So how are they to know? Which is funny. So because like when I talk about fools rush in, because even though you meet a girl and you don't think you know that much about them, you like them a little bit, and then you find out not that you're not as matched, but it's just like everybody falls in love for a little bit and then gets a broken heart and stuff like that. And I like I think the part of going to the chorus, like though we met, I felt my life began, and I think I don't know, there's something about it that just sounds beautiful to it, and like so open up your heart and let this fool rush in. I mean, I can see that kind of in like a movie, kind of like at the end of a movie, or just like with a guy and a girl, like a teenage movie. I mean, I know there was a Matthew Perry called Fools Rush In, and I never saw it, and I don't know if the song plays in it or something like that. Probably does. I mean, I don't see how it wouldn't. But and of course that it was probably inspired by that song. I don't know, yeah. Now we're going into another song that was actually released as a single right before Richie Valens died, which was "Little Girl." And this is one of the really only few like ballads of Richie Valens. Did I say Little Richard before with Little Girl? I don't know if I get confused. Okay, I'm down on myself now. I can be a mess. I can be a freaking mess. But anyway, no. So yeah, Little Girl is a very yeah, very good tune. I think very beautiful. Like yeah, it's beautifully done. It's definitely a ballad. You can feel a doo-wop style, even though there's no backing vocals. Because there's really no Richie Valens song that has any backing vocals or anything. It's all just him. There's really no harmonies on his stuff. Yeah, which I kind of like. I don't mind artists that don't do harmony. I think harmony is beautiful for stuff, but I don't think it's always like, because when I was like in middle school, I was starting like I didn't like too much of harmony and stuff, and I do think like sometimes using too many voices can be too much. I think honestly, and of course there were a few artists that like using a lot of voices in songs, but I like stuff that's just very simple, just with a few. I mean, hell, I like songs with backing vocals that they do themselves. But anyway, yeah, no. So no, Little Girl is a good song, which I think was meant to probably be a hit, but didn't really make it as much, unfortunately. And then we got a song that really represents for Ricky Nelson, that really just represents who he is, and it came out after Travel Man and Hello Mary Lou. I can't believe I blanked on that for a second. Yeah, I think it was sort of a hit. I don't know if it was like I don't think it was as big as Travel Man or something like that, but it's a song that represents like who he is and all that stuff. Like some people call me a teenage idol, and it's like it definitely has a very sad mood, because it's like it is a kind of depressing song, because it's like he's talking about, it's like, even though the message is like, even though you think my life is probably great because like I'm like a lucky teenager being a star and having fortune and fame, and but like it's like, but it's not all what you think it is. And that's the thing about fame. It's not all what we think it is. There is the price of fame, and there is a part of loneliness, because he said, because a line that gets to me is like, I guess they got no way of knowing how lonesome I can be. And it's like, I think like definitely the music, the melody, I think goes well with the lyrics, and Ricky Nelson's voice, I think, captures the type of mood the song is, because if Ricky Nelson sang this too positively, it wouldn't have, of course, got out on right. But he sings it in the melancholy way that you would think, and it works pretty well. So to wrap it up with the last songs for each of these artists, we've got, for Richie Valens, I thought a good song that, how could you not mention, when you mentioned 8 songs of Richie Valens, how can you not mention That's My Little Susie? Now, That's My Little Susie is a really good song because, whatchamacallit, very, rocky, almost like something that you thought could have almost been a hit, like almost like O'Donna and all, like O'Donna or La Bamba. Just a very, rocking song. Guitar is good. The guitar, the rhythm of it just keeps, going like banging and all that, which is good. And, yeah, just definitely, it's like, if you like Donna, then you like Susie. But that's the thing you want to know. Who does he really love, Donna or Susie? Okay, so I thought a good way to end this playlist would be a song that's probably one of Ricky Nelson's beautiful, like 2 songs that I would say that, like, because Teenage Idol, I think, honestly, just is something that's really a type of impressive, beautiful song. Lonesome Town is definitely one of those other great ballads from him, but just also from like the late 50s. And just another song that just talks about loneliness, and his voice captures the mood, like like I said in the last one, his voice captures the mood and all that. And the guitar, just this, there's not a lot of instrumentation on this. A little bit of backing vocals. I sometimes think the backing vocals are a little bit unnecessary for it, but and a little too out there. But honestly, it's not so bad, really. It captures it pretty well, I think. And I think yeah, no, I think it's a good song, and it's definitely something that satisfied me even when I first, got into Ricky Nelson when I was like in middle school and all that. So yeah, so that's my playlist. I'd like to thank everybody who joined in and watched and stuff like that. wait. Oh, I said Anthony said that. I don't know any of the song aside from the ones from the movie, which barely remember. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I did this, Anthony. Like, yeah, that's the reason why I did this playlist for tonight. Just because it was like it's something I wanted to share in a sense because, you know, considering these artists are not like, they're older and they're all they're all gone. They're all dead now. And of course now there's not going to be a lot of news about them or nothing current about them really unless a biopic came out, and hell there was a Richie Valens biopic already. And and I don't know how much news would be said about them, but I just felt like this is something that would be really good to share because this is good music and something that should be passed on. And definitely, these artists should get the credit they deserve. Because it's just like it's like because it is sad that like there are some artists that I've listened to that I love that even with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame didn't get the credit they deserved until later. Well, actually, Sam Cooke and James Brown got in like on the first in the first year, and Ricky Nelson got in '87, which I'm sort of surprised at because it's like I would have thought that he would have been one of those artists that got in later. I mean, I don't know because I mean, it's possible that they inducted because he died like just like a year before, like on December 31st, 1985. So I guess maybe that was something of it, or like his mother, maybe I don't know. Maybe some people pushed it to get him in. That's kind of how I feel on that. Even though he definitely deserves it. The only one I was surprised that like I felt was too late was Richie Valens. I mean, he got inducted in 2001 for crying out loud. I mean, he should have been inducted in like honestly to around 87 or like at least 88 or 89. Maybe the same year as like the Beatles or like like I think like maybe not 87, but 88, 89, or 90, that's when he should have been inducted. In like 2001, that was too long of a wait, honestly. Yeah, that was kind of unfair. And yeah, and I think that's the thing too. Richie Valens may have not been, respected as much or like just cherished as much because, his career didn't last long and only had a few hits. But, definitely I think, with these songs, they're definitely something that can pass on for generations. And, even though they're older, this was the stuff that people who were teenagers listened to, and they are timeless and stuff like that. And of course, music can sound richer now with so much sound that we have now and so much equipment. But the 50s were able to start bringing more of a louder sound, and they were the ones that kind of invented that or like planted on like the blueprint for that. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say on this live stream. Thank you for everybody who watched. And oh, one little thing I want to shout out before, if you are on Facebook, then why not check out my Facebook group that I have with my channel? And this is something that I think you guys would really enjoy. It's a really, I try to get everybody, to have discussions in it. I want it to be a discussion type page, and all that, to everybody to, just like get along, express their feelings about music, but hell, they can even express their feelings about movies as well, because I do, of course, a little other stuff on the channel. But yeah, no. So if you want to join, go on Facebook and yeah, that's right, plug your stuff. Yeah, yeah, I'll send the link to that. And oh, hey, Fernando, hey, what's going on, man? You caught me at the end of the stream, man. Just yeah. Oh, did he leave? Did I scare him? Did he not want me to mention name? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. All right. What do we call it? Yeah, no, so that's it for today's stream. Thank you for the people that were watching. Please give a like, thumbs up and a subscribe. I've honestly forgot like how to do this plug now, honestly. Doing it for so long. Jeez. All right. See you guys in the next video. Bye. Or the next live stream. You may never know when I'm going. I pop up like a ninja.